As the call came to fortify the breach dike at Oak Grove, the Guard launched a Zodiac boat crew to place sandbags in hard-to-reach areas.
As you can see, that's a football field. They have the scoreboard over here. They have their goal posts are still up. Just the post is 10 feet high, and you can't see any of it right now. So,
U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services and the Coast Guard used airboats to respond as search and rescue teams performed welfare visits to rural residents isolated by the floodwaters. The teams were responsible for making initial contact with people in case they needed to be evacuated. They worked with other agencies like the National Guard to transport people.
We're here with the U.S. Coast Guard, Air National Guard, and U.S. Border Patrol under the direction of Cass County Sheriff. Yeah, this is a little out of our realm, but you know, we work to help people and serve people, so that's what we're doing here to help people with the flood.
Evacuations of Fargo began with the assistance of the North Dakota National Guard.
Hi. Hi. We are evacuating.
Vital to the Guard's flood fighting efforts were the quick reaction force teams who responded to dike leaks and breaches. The teams were strategically positioned near predetermined threats. Welfare visits in many communities were also done by these teams at the request of local law enforcement.
Two units in there with a deputy in each unit just to go in there and do a welfare check on these people.
The Guard provided high-wheel vehicles with operators to support evacuations throughout the state. They allowed the Guard to be ready with personnel and equipment to get the job done. Dike and presence patrols were seen in multiple neighborhoods and communities across the state.
In this area so far, we've just had seepage problems. They've been pumping all morning, people ordering up pumps, getting pumps, and I mean, it's really the community here in Timberline that just has absolutely been taking care of business.
Guardsmen watched, and listened while they checked on dikes and pumps and assisted where needed.
So everybody's, sees the stress and how urgent it is, but they've also been really great in letting the trucks and the people do what they need to do.
Local law enforcement also utilized Guardsmen for traffic control points. "8 minutes, the average response time of one of the National Guard's quick reaction forces moving from the staging area to the site of a leak, breach, or other need. More than 60 people evacuated with Guard assistance. 20,000 hotel rooms. By mid-April, the Guard had ramped up its presence in Lisbon. The ground was saturated and manhole covers exploded from the ever-mounting water pressure. Heavy equipment operators worked swiftly to cover them with clay and dirt to stop the gushing waters. Partially evacuating the city and working hard, putting up contingency dikes as the Cheyenne River rose. On April 13th, the attention turned to Valley City. The Guard responded to a dike breach there. Black Hawk helicopters placed 1-ton sandbags to stop the water. The continued flooding in Valley City resulted in a failure of the main sewer system. Following instructions from city officials to conserve water, the 119th Civil Engineer Squadron was called in to set up portable showers and generators.
The showers are great. They could be worse, but they're definitely appreciated.
On Easter Day, Task Force West engaged in sandbag operations along the Source River in Burlington.
They spent their Easter pitching sandbags and wading through boot-high mud. About 80 members of the North Dakota National Guard found themselves on the sandbag line at a home west of Burlington in an area known as the Projects. That meant no family time on this Easter holiday, but the people of Burlington tried to make it up to them by feeding them an Easter dinner at the City Hall, and the meal was a hit.
We had a really nice dinner, kind of a pleasant surprise. We weren't all expecting to get a whole lot for Easter meal.
Sandbagged all night south of Minot. The next night, a quick response force responded to the Dakota Square Mall to sandbag there. They also evacuated the local KOA campground. Many Guardsmen worked behind the scenes processing, tracking, planning, and executing this massive flood effort. From manning and setting up pumps and heavy equipment operators to command and control, Guardsmen played many different roles in fighting the flood. Everyone had a job to do and rolled up their sleeves, resolute to accomplish the task at hand.
We
just ran in a gentleman that's trying to save his house and whatever he can back there. Ran a pump into him so he could start pumping from the outside of his house out.
North Dakota National Guard Public Affairs captured video, photographs, wrote news stories, and worked with national media to help tell the story of how the Guard assisted the state in winning the flood fight. Guardsmen cooked and served meals and provided bed-down facilities for those brought in to fight the flood. The North Dakota National Guard's unit ministry team was also mobilized in support of the Guardsmen in the fight.
The spirits are sky high. People are motivated about the mission.
I enjoyed it. You meet a lot of new people. Working with the Army hand in hand, it's been a lot of fun.
I feel good about helping the community.
I guess come out here, help these people. Worth it. They like it, they enjoy it.
Thank you guys. So it's a great community to have up here.
They feel like this is what they joined the Guard for, to be able to really serve and protect and defend the community like this in a time of need.
The teams provided spiritual support, conducted morale and welfare checks, and provided counseling to individuals in need.
We had some of our chaplains and also our social workers as well. We've been working with them because they're part of our team.
Ready? Yep.
National Guardsmen serving were not only from North Dakota, but South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Montana, and Missouri.
And this whole operation was literally engineered on the fly in the last 24 hours. We knew we had a storm coming in. We knew we had vulnerable areas in the levees that would be vulnerable to wave action, and we needed a solution. So the engineers sat down, cranked out a solution, and the Guard guys made it happen. The solution is to use some polyethylene plastic weighted down by sandbags and connected with, believe it or not, potatoes. We didn't want to poke any holes in the polyethylene, and they wrapped the plastic around it and then wrapped rope or string around that and secure the sandbags to the polyethylene that way.
As of June 1st, 2009, the floodwaters began to recede across the state and recovery operations were in full swing. North Dakota Guardsmen stayed on duty, assisting local authorities in monitoring the flooding situation in Jamestown. 4,300,000 sandbags filled statewide as of April 1st, which equates to the height of 1,720 Empire State Buildings if the bags are stacked one on top of the other. 10,152,000 gallons of water pumped equates to 107,611,200 cans of soda. 105,395 flight miles equates to more than 4 times around the world. From city to city, the state called, and the North Dakota National Guard responded, living up to their motto, always ready, always there.
We were able to sustain a long and sometimes daunting mission because of the teamwork and community effort that went into our flood fighting efforts. This was a partnership with communities and state and federal agencies, coupled with the resilience of the citizens of North Dakota committed to fighting this flood together. The flooding was harsh, and the damage it caused will leave a lasting mark. But together, our efforts were successful in minimizing the loss of life, limb, and property. We could not have responded in record numbers for such an extended time without the unyielding support of our families, employers, universities, and colleges.
In a celebration honoring flood fighting efforts of the community, the Fargo-Moorhead Symphony performed a free concert. During the climax of the performance, members of the North Dakota National Guard 188th Army Band fired ceremonial M1 rifles at the end of the 1812 overture.
From fighting this epic flood, I have learned a few things. I know you don't bring a knife to a gunfight, and you don't fight a flood without the Guard.